Well, it just might be deja vu all over again for the Bowling Green Falcons as we welcome in Michael Burwell, who covers the Falcons on a daily basis for the Toledo Blade. Michael, thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you for having me.
You just pointed out there's some very interesting parallels to this year's Falcons team and last year's team.
Yeah, there are. Entering the Kent State game, BG's on a 3-game winning streak, very similar to last year, on a 3-game winning streak, and they don't want a repeat of last year, that's for sure, when they played the Golden Flashes. They lost 40-6 at home. Really tough game with Toledo coming up, just like this year with Toledo coming up. You know, BG wants to put on a good performance, and they have a chance at their first 4-game winning streak in the Scott Loeffler era. I think that would be extremely significant. Obviously, this win would make them bowl eligible for the 2nd straight year. That's enormous in itself. So I think they're plenty motivated to try to not repeat what they did last year.
Coming off the win over Ball State, in which they got the early lead several times, the Cardinals came back to tie it, but Bowling Green always had an answer in the second half. But perhaps a costly victory, as Terrion Stewart did leave that game late in the 4th quarter with what is believed to be a lower leg injury in that nebulous coach speak. It's going to be a game-time decision on Wednesday. We saw what Bowling Green's offense was like last year without Terrion. We've seen this year how much better it is with Terrion.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a difference maker. I mean, this team has elevated to another level rushing the ball, and they really obviously want him for the Kent State game. It's going to be interesting. Maybe he plays, maybe he's limited. Maybe he only gets 9 to 10 touches compared to the 20 to 25 carries that he's had per game. So it's going to be interesting to see, do they rest him this week and save him for Toledo? There's kind of a lot of questions, leading into that. But obviously they struggled running the ball last year without him. But there are some capable running backs. They have a lot of very experienced running backs. Tron Keith, such a difference maker in the pass game. I mean, he is so clutch out of the backfield. He's able to run the ball as well. Kick return game. So if Terrion can't go, expect plenty of Tron Keith. Jason Patterson as well has a lot of experience. So maybe they can be okay without Terrion this week, but I think they'd rather have him out on the field.
Bowling Green continues to lead the nation in takeaways. And takeaways, Michael, is one of those things every coach wants to have a lot of takeaways. It's easier said than done, but it is something you really do need to practice.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they go through, especially the secondary, catching passes. They use the jugs machine all the time, recovering fumbles. I mean, they recovered 2 fumbles against Ball State and both really good plays. One of them was really heads-up play. It was kind of a backwards pass from Ball State, and it was kind of hard to tell maybe, but BG just went right after it and got the fumble, and it led to 7 points. They scored 14 points off the 2 turnovers they forced, so it's impressive. They're up to 22 turnovers forced this year. Really, really remarkable. And I think the biggest thing is BGSU has not committed a turnover the last couple games, which is
because for a while they were leading the nation in both ends of turnovers.
Right. Really, really wild stat. But I think that's just as big as the turnovers forced itself, as BG is taking care of the ball, and they absolutely have to do that or continue to do that going forward.
What's the level of concern about maybe looking past Kent State? 'Cause we're talking about a 1-8 Golden Flashes team. Their only victory was against Central Connecticut State. You're not talking very good when you're talking New England football. You're talking directional New England football school at that. Golden Flashes 1-8. Are they a threat to BG, or is BG still at the point where they've got to take everybody seriously?
Honestly, I think they're still at a point they have to take everybody seriously. And I think that's the message that Scott Loeffler is giving his team is, I don't care who we're playing. He talks all the time about playing like they did against Georgia Tech. That was the pinnacle. I mean, that was as good as it gets for BG, which was really, really impressive. But even in this 3-game winning streak, they have not played to that potential, especially offensively. So I don't think they're looking past Kent State at all. I think their focus is kind of switched from this whole consistency thing to just, 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time. How can we win today? I think it's working. I mean, they've won 3 in a row. I mean, so I can't imagine that they're looking too far ahead. I mean, they're going to be ready for Toledo when it comes, but I think they want to make sure that they take care of business this week.
And perhaps the biggest threat for the Golden Flashes is their passing game.
Yeah, they have a really talented redshirt freshman wide receiver, Krishawn McCray. He's leading the leading the MAC in receiving yards, I think with 610. He has 4 touchdowns. So, yeah, I mean, that passing game could cause BG some problems. I mean, as good as BG's secondary is, at times, maybe they've gotten burnt a couple times. So it's going to be interesting. But, I mean, that secondary for BG is very talented. And, if they can force a couple turnovers, especially like interceptions, then, that could definitely lead to good things for them.
All right, the Falcons will put that winning streak on the line Wednesday night at Kent State. I want to thank our guest, Michael Burwell from the Toledo Blade, for joining us. Michael, thank you once again.
Yep, thank you.